Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniXTCG, and today we will be getting further into our set 2 primers. We're going to alternate between a new deck and a returning deck pretty much every time we can, and today's deck will be Kaido. I do want to apologize for not having the uploads up as early as I normally do. It's just been kind of a rough weekend personally, and I was a little burnt out and ended up kind of just needing to collect myself for the first half of the day. So with that being said, I do want to once again thank you guys for helping the channel grow so much. We are, like I said, over 4K and we are continuing to grow. Very excited. We got Dallas at the end of this week for One Piece Treasure Cup, and yeah, what can I say? It's just a good vibe all around. Just want to let you guys know that if you want to join the UniX fam, all you have to do is go down, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button so you don't miss a beat, and just comment. Let me know your thoughts with this so the video can trend and so I can actually get back to you guys. It's that more one-on-one. And if you want to have more further discussions, you can always join the Discord and communicate with all the people in the Universe X community. So with that being said, let's hop over to the cards. We're going to do the same format as we normally do with the new cards, the returning cards, and the fringe cards that we're seeing a lot in the current Japanese meta. And I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, so first and foremost, we're going to start with the leader. That is Kaido from the starter deck, the purple one. And yeah, this guy's effect is like just tried and true. It may not happen 4 times, 5 times the game, but it will happen later in the end stages and make your life incredibly more difficult, especially when there's such strong, high power attackers in the Kaido deck. So yeah, you're gonna be down at 1 life, you're gonna get 1 life trashed. It could have been a trigger, could have been a 2K, could have been something nice, and then every attack that goes on your face needs to be blocked or out countered because it is deadly. And that is just how this guy works. So yeah, activate main, Dawn -7, once per turn, trash the top card of your opponent's life. And now that we're done with that, let's go over to the new cards. First and foremost, we have got Hannibal. This is the Impel Down Searcher. He's on play. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 purple Impel Down card type type card other than Hannibal and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. So now purple has a top 5 searcher. This isn't like it's going to shuffle the deck, but it will actually allow you to go through your deck a little bit more. Purple is going to, with this set, step into the One Piece general function of having 2 engines in your deck and you go through them. The only thing is there's no way to search animal pirates right now, so it's really still just like it's 2 archetypes, but only one of them kind of feels like an engine because only one of them has a top 5 searcher. You could count Queen, but Queen just general draw kind of holds it together. Now, next card we're gonna go over to that's using a bunch of these lists. This is Shiki. He is a 2K counter. Trigger Dawn -1, play this card. You don't really use the trigger. The main thing about this card is it's a 2K searcher, or it's a 2K counter that's searchable by Hannibal. And that's going to be something that's very important because you know how far. Now, sometimes this deck just really suffers with not being able to see cards in correct sequence. At least this is going to be a 2K that you can pick up off the top of your deck with a 1 drop. Next, you have got another card. You got Sadie, however you want to pronounce it. On play up to 1 Jailer Beast type character card from your hand. Once again, this is mostly here because of counter plus 2K. Once again, this is another Impel Down card. You can search off Hannibal. So Hannibal is literally just a 1-drop searcher that's going to search for utility and defense. And that's all you need. Kaido has the punchers. Kaido has like the heat. You just need to have that defense on tap. And that's what Hannibal does along with these multiple 2Ks. You're going to pretty much strip most of the 2Ks you had in the deck for the searchable ones. The next one, you have this Domino card. This is a just 2-cost blocker, but once again, she's Impel Down, so she's a searchable blocker. That's why she kind of sits here and replaces Black Maria in most lists. And then to the boss card of the Impel Down archetype, you got Magellan. And Magellan is a 5-cost, 0 counter, 6,000 attack, special attacker. On play, Dawn -1, your opponent returns 1 of their Dawn cards on the field to their Dawn deck. Pretty neat. You set your opponent back a little bit. But then the opponent's turn, when this character is KO'd, your opponent returns 2 of their Dawn cards on the field to their Dawn deck. So Magellan kind of is interesting because he's going to set your opponent back on their curve. And there's no way to really avoid this so far in the game. You just kind of have to deal with him. You either let his attacks go through and just counter them or block them, or at some point you're going to have to take a calculated risk and pop him when you don't think you're going to need those Dawn, or when you've already used a lot of your Dawn. And but the only thing though that's kind of whack about this one is it says your opponent returns 2 of their Dawn cards on the field to their Dawn deck, and what this means is you choose as the opponent. So if you've got 2 open for like a extra counter or an event counter, you can just put 2 that you've already tapped to your Dawn deck. It affects your next turn's ramp, but it doesn't exactly lock you out of defending yourself this current turn. So I think that's a little unfortunate. I get how some people may feel like it'd be overpowered if the player who controlled the Magellan chose, but I think that effect like this, that's what you should be working around. Now let's move over to the last of the new cards, and this is Hell's Judgment, Magellan's signature move. It's a 2-cost counter, Dawn -1, give up to 2 of your opponent's leader or character cards minus 3,000 power for this turn. And then trigger, if your opponent has 6 or more Dawn, your opponent returns 1 of their Dawn cards to their Dawn deck. So once again, trigger, not that great, but we can't ignore that, we literally can't ignore that this is actually a widespread thing. Like, you activate this card and you could put a 5k down to a 2k, plus the leader that maybe you're swinging for 7k down to a 4k, and now they have to add additional Dawn if they want that other attack to go through. Like, this is actually a very, very good card. Just being able to paperclip your opponent and make, not only nullify the swing that's coming in, but make another future swing rough. I like this a lot. Next, we're going to go over to returning cards, and this one's not going to be that hard. We have got Queen, good blocker, draw card, one of the best cards, if not the best card outside of Onigushima in the purple deck currently, so you know that he was going to come into this format. We've got 6-drop King. There's still a lot of things for him to destroy, and on top of him destroying these things, he's still a 7k body for 6 on top of popping something, so he's still prime. We've got King 7, especially with all the Zoros and, you know, green still running around. There's a lot of targets for him to hit, and so many times you will 2-for-1 your opponent. Still a very strong card. You've got 9-drop Kaido. Once again, what's not to like? He's a 10k swinger. He's got rush. He pops something 6 or less. He's still that dude. And then a card that lots of people are still maxing out on, if not playing 3, is still 10-drop Kaido. Board wipe is board wipe, and with the consistency that the Impel Down engine adds to this deck, you're going to be able to keep it a higher life more often, allowing you to successfully land your 10-drop Kaido safely in more games. So these things don't change. Cards that also come back, you've got X-Drake. He's one of the 2Ks that actually kind of survives the great Impel Down purge, because he still has a great effect when he comes into play. So your opponent's down on resources, which is easy to do late game when they start having to counter out of some of your bigger swings. And then this guy just comes down and goes, hey, you have 1 less card in hand now. He's really, really annoying to play against, so he still stays. Next, another card that still stays is Kurizumi. Black Maria kind of gets a little, I'm not going to say messed up per se, but Black Maria does kind of lose out to a searchable 2k blocker, and then this 2k or this 3k blocker, and they all cost the same amount. The only difference is Black Maria is not searchable and doesn't have 3k, so she kind of loses out. But Kurizumi Higurashi, he stays. Then you got Onigushima. Of course, this card was not going anywhere. You'd have to be insane for this card to go somewhere. So let's move on. You've got Thunderbagwa. Thunderbagwa is just, it's just a good card in general. Thunderbagwa is going to still give you the 4k, and then if you're 2 life or less, ramp 1 card. So this is going to help you swing. You stop an attack and you prepare to go in harder next turn. This is just that dude. And then if it's triggered, you just ramp a Dawn, set it to active. So this card is all around good, and it still stays in the deck just so you can get that ramp in. Now we're going to go to underused kind of fringe cards, and we're going to start off with Shiryu. Shiryu is a 4 cost for 5k power, and he goes counter plus 1k. On play, Dawn -1, K up to 1 of your opponent's characters at the cost of 1 or less. This is kind of weird. He's Impel Down, so he's searchable. He will be able to destroy quite a few cards in the Zoro matchup, but all in all, I feel like this card better belongs in a deck like Z, because Z is going to have the black cards as well, so you're going to be minusing your opponent's costs while being able to use cards like this to destroy them once they've already been dropped. In this deck, he's actually a very, very, very limited destruction, so that's kind of weird. Next, you have got Mina Koala. This guy's a 4 cost 5k, great cost, great stats, counter 1k, blocker. And on KO, if your leader has the impelled down type, add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. So you're never going to be able to use that in a Kaido deck. You'd have to be playing Magellan. However, or Z, I think. However, what this is going to allow you to do is have more synergy with Sadie, because you'll be able to actually play him from your hand. If you play Sadie, you'll be able to cheat in this blocker, and that's actually pretty good. That's actually really, really good. The next Fringe card, I know people will hate to see it, but you've got Uta. Uta is a great card. You know, she's a blocker, 5k stats, 1k counter, and then Dawn -1, rest one of your opponent's characters at the cost of 5 or less. However, Uta just doesn't, she's not searchable. She's a very, very powerful card, but she's not searchable, meaning you have to kind of max out on her to see her consistently, and the deck is losing space in this set when you have to put in the impel down parts. So she kind of hits Fringe. You don't see her in many lists, actually. A card that's going to surprise you to be on Fringe as well is Blast Breath. So Blast Breath also kind of goes down lower. It's not searchable. It is a great card, but when you have cards like Hell's Judgment, and then you have other cards like Lightning Bagua, which is going to help you ramp more, yeah, it unfortunately Blast Breath isn't about like half of the decks that you'll see online. It's really a coin flip almost. So that's not the staple that it once was, but it actually becomes sort of like, you know, player preference. And yeah, so let's go over to the closing and let's finish it up from there. So I think it's pretty easy to see that the thing that Kaido really gains with set 2 Paramount War is consistency. You're going to still run high amounts of your boss cards because you need to see them, but on top of that, just one Hannibal is going to allow you to search 2Ks, blockers, defense, like events. So you're going to be able to make sure that if you draw your boss cards, you're going to hopefully be drawing into these pieces or draw into a Hannibal that's going to help you search these pieces. And to be honest, Kaido is one of the best decks in the format right now. All it needs is a little defense. All it needs is a little consistency to make sure it lives long enough to play its bombs, and then it feels very, very, very competent. So yeah, if you love Kaido now, just know that while it may be a little rougher when the Zoros come at you, you're not out of options yet. You're still going to be able to play and see some success. So yeah, Kaido fans, rejoice. That being said, I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next video. And also, by the way, I guess I do have to run the clip, and then after the clip, we'll go into the credits. But if you want to see where you can pre-order future One Piece content, as long as you're early enough, or where you can actually just buy singles that are out now or soon to be out later, or where you can sell collections, you should check out our sponsors. So let's talk about our sponsor, Mystic TCG, your one-stop shop for all of your trading card game needs. On their site, you can buy or pre-order starter decks, boxes, even cases, as long as you try to give it about 3 to 4 months ahead of time for the pre-orders, because sometimes the product's a little too hot to keep on the shelves. If you want singles, you can go over to their TCG Player website, where you'll find nothing but product and great reviews. And if you even want to sell your collections, just hop on over to their Facebook page and message them directly, and you get a price worked out for you, best bang for your buck. And you know what? While you're here, let me throw you a little something extra. If you want 5% off of any purchases made on the site, make sure you use the link in the description, or at checkout, use the code WORSTGEN. That'll be on the screen as well, and I hope you find something you like with Mystic TCG.